Thank you, Madam Toastmaster. How many of you were here back in June when I first gave this talk? Several of you were. And a whole bunch of you weren't, so I thought it would be a great chance to do it again, since at this point in Pathways, I'm in the assignment that allows you to do the speech again. So I'm taking advantage of that. And so we're going to refresh our memories about the major points that I made a month and a half ago, and then expand a little bit more about it so you have a better feel for what I'm talking about up here. Now, as Julie already mentioned, what is this device here? 1, 2, 3.
Lectern.
Thank you very much. Anybody know what a podium is?
You stand on it.
You stand on a podium. A podium is a raised platform, okay? Now, this only seems to work in Toastmasters because if you go to another venue and you ask for the lectern, and they look at you like, what language are you speaking? And you ask for the podium and they know what you're talking about. We run into this like here. But the reality, if you want to be a purist, this is a lectern, not a podium. Now, we had 3 major rules that I talked about in the last talk. Does anybody remember the prime directive for the lectern? What is the one thing you always need to remember? Never leave the lectern unattended. How many Navy people do we have in here? No one knows this. Okay, well, a couple Navy people. All right, if you're on a ship, all right, and you have what we call the con, that means you're in charge of the ship. And you don't walk away from driving the ship when you have the con. Someone else will have to take your place if that's the case. And that brings us to the second rule, which is how do we in Toastmasters exchange the con of the lectern? Does anybody remember?
Yes.
You don't remember, or you're just...
I do remember.
Would you, I know, I asked a
As
question.
old as I am, I do remember.
All right, and the answer to the question is?
Is that you always go with the
No, that's the
person
third rule. All right.
I don't understand, obviously.
Second rule is in order to change the con, when you're up here at a Toastmasters meeting, you shake the person's hand. That effectively relieves you of driving the ship, so to speak, or in this case, driving the Toastmasters meeting. And then, Fred, the third rule is...
The person coming up steps in front
Steps in
of the
front,
person
always.
who's already there, who steps back to allow an easy flow and people not crashing into each other.
That's right. Now we're going to demonstrate this. Julie's going to help me out. So Julie is going to pretend this lectern is totally attended at all times for the purpose of this demonstration. So Julie, I'm going to sit down over here. If you'll come up as if you were the Toastmaster, and you're going to introduce me, and I'm going to come up just a couple words. So I can hear you.
And now, if everyone would please welcome our next speaker, Carl Thormeyer.
Now, that was easy. Why was that easy? Because I came up from this side, and she's sitting over on this side. We're not going to bump into each other, all right? But it doesn't always work that way. Suppose I'm sitting over here, and Julie is the Toastmaster and is going to introduce me.
And now, please welcome Carl Thormeyer.
How many times have I seen people crashing into each other? And I finally give them a hug. But anyway, you're going to shake my hand, and you're leaving, so you need to go behind me. I'm in front because the focus is going to be on me. I'm the upcoming speaker. And so I want you to focus, and the Toastmaster really wants you to focus on me as well. And Julie is leaving the lectern, leaving the area, transferring the con, and she's sitting down. So now I'm up here, and I've got the con. All right, I've shaken her hand, and we figured out which way we're going to dodge bullets and connecting with each other. Now, there's another way the Toastmaster can get around this. If I'm coming up from this side, and she knows that, she can sit over here, and when she calls me up, it's not a problem because she's going that way, and I'm coming up, and she backs off. There's only one problem with that. Anybody remember what the problem is? If the Toastmaster has notes, might not remember to bring it to the other seat. How many times have I done this? I said, oh shoot, I left my notes over here. So I'd rather take a chance of bumping into somebody and go in front or go back. That worked. All right, now I'm going to just demonstrate as if I were coming up, and Julie, you can stay seated for this one. I'm coming up, and I'm going to imagine that I'm shaking Julie's hand. And I have confidence when I come up here, all right? I'm walking smartly, I'm smiling, I'm happy that I'm coming up to the lectern. And I want people in the audience to know that I'm happy about coming up to the lectern because I'm going to share something with them, and they're anticipating that I'm going to. if I walk up all droopy and falling asleep and tripping over things, the impression is not going to be what you want it to be. Okay, common sense, obviously, but I've seen it work that way. Now, when I get here with a lectern, I have to, the first thing I should do, or very close to the beginning, is acknowledge the Toastmaster. Thank you, Madam Toastmaster. What does that do? That's like saying on a ship, I am Mr. Thormeyer and I have the con. All right, you've acknowledged to the Toastmaster that you are now in charge of the meeting. Yes, you shook her hand, and that theoretically cemented it, but you acknowledge it by saying that. And then at the end, you have the same situation. The Toastmaster is going to come up and shake your hand. However, I've seen people walk away, and the Toastmaster's standing there like, what do I do now? Well, you know what she's going to do? What I do, I follow that person until I sit down, and then I shake their hand. Which brings up what I do as a Toastmaster. If I'm not acknowledged, if I'm over here, and Julie's speaking, and she doesn't say, thank you, Mr. Toastmaster, I'm going to stand here until she does. Oh. I haven't done that in this club yet, but I'm going to start doing it. Up at the ones with the white, there was one guy, he always did that. Sometimes he stayed up there the whole speech because he never got acknowledged. And he got the message real quick. So these are the things you think about when you're coming up to the lecture. Now, the last thing I want to talk about in this particular version of the presentation is what do we do with this thing when it's in the way, all right? First of all, you have to figure out, are you too high or too tall or too short? And that's not a problem with this lectern. Some of them are way up here, and I've seen soda cartons in the back that people can step on to make sure their head is above the lectern. Not a problem in this club, but it may be if you're speaking on the outside somewhere. But what if we don't want the lectern? Who moves the lectern away? Well, it was done properly today. When Pat didn't want the lectern, Julie took it and moved it off. Why Julie and not Pat? Because when Pat comes up here, we don't want to focus on her moving the lectern. We want to focus on what the first thing is she's going to say. We want to see her smartly moving up to the front and view her as that, rather than watch her move the furniture. And then at the end, it's probably easier for the Toastmaster if the speaker, after returning control, goes ahead and moves the lectern back so the Toastmaster can focus on calling on the next speaker. So with these hints under your belt, all of this is about just to make things move more smoothly in the course of the meeting. And if you follow these basic rules, you'll always be doing well in a Toastmasters meeting.